Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of a sneak peek into the Administrator Masterclass. A sneak peek into the Administrator Masterclass. See, this program is designed to give you an idea, to give you a foretaste, to give you a sample of some of the things that the administrator is able to do and deliver to any organization. My name is Tunde Disu, and you are very welcome to today's program. On today's program, we'll be looking at statutory training. Statutory training. As an organization, especially a non-profit making organization, you are expected to adhere to some basic statutory guidelines as contained in decrees and laws and statutes enacted by the government. And sometimes it is not because you are not doing what you're supposed to do within the context of the constitution of your organization. You could be meeting all those requirements, but where you are failing in any of these statutory requirements, the government has a right to pull you up. And therefore, they are as vital, as important as you sticking and adhering to the dictates of your constitution as an organization. So it is very important that we know these things, we practice them, we keep the law, because you remember, there is no excuse in law. So today we're going to look at some of these statutory obligations, statutory requirements that we're expected to maintain, to keep, to adhere to as an organization, especially a not-for-profit making organization, a charity, a church, a ministry, an NGO, a social enterprise, or any other organization for that matter. So we're going to look at some of these requirements quickly in today's program. But before we do that, let us look at what does it mean when they say something is statutory. When something is statutory, it simply means that is something that has been enacted, that has been set up, that has the backing of the law of the land. And therefore, anybody operating within and on the land is expected to keep those laws. So a statutory is something that has been enacted by statute, by law or decree, and has become a requirement or an expectation that must be maintained, that must be kept, that must be practiced by the citizens or the organizations within that entity or that country as it is. Let me give you an example of some of the statutory laws that are operating, even as far as individuals are concerned, not even talking about organizations now. For instance, recently a law was enacted that says no one is allowed to smoke cigarette within a confined environment. Up till when that became law, people can go into a restaurant, have their meal, and smoke. It got a point that people were separated into smoking and non-smoking area. You go into hotels and the rooms are the last occupant was a smoker, and so you have to partake of this and all of that. But recently, a law was enacted that says no smoking in any confined environment. Now, that is a statutory law. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree to it or not, the government has passed the law, and we as citizens are expected to obey. Recently, in fact, in this month of March, another law was enacted that says nobody is allowed to use the mobile phone while driving without the phone having a hands-free device. That is another law that has been enacted. So I'm using this as pointers for us to know how important and how serious government takes anything that has a statutory backing with it. So as an organization, as a charity, as a church, as a ministry, as an NGO, what are some of the statutory obligations that you are expected to adhere to? Number one is data protection. Data protection. Now, when it comes to data protection, it is known worldwide that if an organization collects data, or for an organization to be able to collect and store and process data and use data of people's personal information, you are expected by law, number one, to register with the Information Commissioner's Office. You must be registered with the Information Commissioner's Office. Now, a lot of people don't know this, and that is why we're using this platform to help our understanding. You must be registered before you can collect, before you can store, before you can file, before you can process and use up people's data, like their personal information, name, address, date of birth, telephone number, email address, and all of that. I know these days everybody's data is everywhere, but there's still a law that requires whoever is a custodian of that data to protect it, to use it fairly, and to safeguard it. So one of the statutory obligations that the law puts on an organization like the ones we're talking about is data protection. And this is very, very, very important. Number two, the second statutory obligation that we'll be looking at is the disclosure and barring services, popularly known as DBS. Disclosure and barring services, popularly known as DBS. Now, what is DBS? What does it entail? DBS is a statutory requirement to help employers to make sure that when they do recruitment for people to look after children, young adults, and vulnerable adults, that those people that are being recruited, they are in good stead as far as the law, as far as the government is concerned, which means they don't have a criminal record, especially where it relates to abuse or neglect or maltreatment of children, of people who cannot protect or defend themselves, vulnerable people. So as an organization, another statutory requirement that you have to keep and maintain is to make sure you are registered with the DBS arm of government, but more than that, make sure all the people that are either working for you as employees or as volunteers, they must all go through the DBS check. This is to ensure that the children, the young adults, the vulnerable adults that they are looking after, they are dealing with, they are protected from being taken advantage of. And when you talk about DBS, there are three types that you can do. There is the standard DBS, there is the enhanced DBS, then there is the enhanced with bad list information. So whichever, it depends on the organization, it depends on the level of dealings that these people, your employee and the volunteer will or may have with the people they're looking after, will determine which level of the DBS that you have to apply for and put them through. So that's another statutory requirement that as an organization you're expected to keep and maintain. And these are areas where the administrator as an organization can help, can support, even if you're already an organization, say a church or a ministry, that you're already on the ground running and operating, and you don't have these things. It is not too late to put them in place. And as an organization, the administrator can come alongside you, help you set it up, help you check all the necessary things, and make sure you are operating within the boundaries of the law. So that's DBS. The third one I want to talk about is safeguarding training. Safeguarding training. What is safeguarding? Safeguarding is the action that is taken to promote the welfare of children, of young adults, and vulnerable adults, and protect them from harm. The difference between DBS and safeguarding is very slim. DBS is to make sure that the people looking after this group of people, they are law-abiding citizens. While safeguarding is the responsibility of the organization to protect the people, the children, the young adults, and the vulnerable adults from coming to harm. Safeguarding means protecting children from abuse and maltreatment, preventing harm to children's health or development, ensuring that children grow up in an environment that is safe and that has effective care system in place, and also to take action to enable all children and young people to have the best outcome in life. So all these are included within the safeguarding policy. And as an organization, again, you are expected to have your own specific, unique safeguarding policy that relates to you and your operations as an organization. And again, if you don't have that, it is not too late. We'll give the contact details for the administrator. Give us a shout, give us a call, send us an email so that we can help you be on the good side of the law. So the first one we talked about was data protection. Then we talked about the DBS, disclosure and barring system or services. Now we talked about safeguarding policy and the need for you to have that in place. The next statutory requirement from you as an organization is that you must have a health and safety policy. Health and safety policy. Health and safety is to ensure that the working environment is free from harm or an accident that can happen to either your employees or your visitors or the people to whom you are rendering your service as an organization. Health and safety is big, is very important. In fact, you are expected to have an insurance policy, a public liability insurance in place to cover in case of any accident to people within the parameters of your premises. So it is important. So health and safety is another statutory requirement of an organization to maintain or to have in place. And again, you have to have health and safety policy, and there are organizations that can put that together for you. Again, the administrator is here to support, to help, to facilitate and ensure that you are on the side of the law. The next statutory requirement is trustees training. As an organization, as a not-for-profit organization, your trust or your organization ideally will be managed and coordinated and directed the activities by a board of trustees. Now, just because you must have a board of trustees doesn't mean you pick on the next person available. I said yesterday during the program that they have to have certain skills and certain experience that they will bring to the table. Now you also have to train them, because remember, this is a not-for-profit organization and you are holding the trust for the public. So the people that will manage that trust have to be trained, because there's an element of personal liabilities on them should they be found negligent in the delivery of their duties. So it is important for you to also have a special training, a regular training for your trustees. Again, this is something the administrator can facilitate and organize for you. There are other statutory requirements up on an organization, things like first aid training, fire safety training, child protection policies. There are so many of them that as an organization you should and you must have. And if you don't have them, that is what the administrator is there for. Call us, send us an email, and we'll be glad to sit down with you, look at what is missing, and make sure you are protected. To be forewarned is better than to be harmed, as they say. So it is better to have these things in place so that you can protect yourself as an individual and the reputation of your organization. The administrator as an organization can be likened to, say, a catalog with different items, different tools, different things, everything you need as an organization to function well, to run and maximize the core reason why you are set up. The administrator is here to help you, to facilitate and make sure you have all the necessary tools in place, and then you can focus on your core assignment. For more information and for that initial consultation, I will go as far as saying that this could be the best phone call you will make this year, because it will help you. It will help you so much that you have your house in order. So for more information, call 0771 265 3428. 0771 265 3428, or send us an email. The email address is info@the-administrator.org. info@the-administrator.org. And we look forward to hearing from you. You see, I cannot stress enough how important these things are. And as an organization, whether you are just starting or you've just started or you've been going for a while, it is very good. It is required of the law that you should have these things in place. And we're here to help you. We're here to render a service to you so that you can be on the good side of the law. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you once again for the time we have spent together tonight. I'll be back again tomorrow, same time, 6 o'clock, and we'll be looking at another aspect of what the administrator can offer to you as an organization, as an individual, or you're just thinking, maybe this is what I should do, and you just want to talk to somebody to help you, to guide you, to encourage and counsel you. Again, the phone number 0771 265 3428. And if you haven't got a copy of this book, The Elisha Project, The Privilege of Serving Leaders, it is a catalog, it's a toolbox of years of experience, of serving, of working, of seeing vision come to life. And I am encouraging you, get a copy of this book. It's available in Kindle format or in paperback form on Amazon, and it will be a blessing to you. So until tomorrow, when we meet again for another sneak peek into the Administrator Masterclass, this is Tunde Disu saying, thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.